All right, let's take what we have here. Another way we could write this exact equation that Emma just showed us is y equals 2/5 x minus 3 or plus negative 3. And this is the same. If you type either of these in derivative, it will be correct because this is the same thing, right? 0.4 is the unit rate, or I could write it as 2/5 if I just wanted to pull it directly from my graph or my slope triangle, and then minus 3 is still our y-intercept or plus negative 3. Those are equivalent expressions. The generic form for any line we do will always follow this pattern that Emma was showing us, where it has some starting value at the y-intercept and it's growing a certain y value for every x value. So it has a certain change in y over change in x. So our generic form for any line is y equals mx plus b. So I can swap out my m here for my slope. This is my slope, which is my change in y over my change in x. And my b value will always represent my y-intercept. So this is how you normally see a line written, as y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept.
All right, so now that we know the generic form of our equation, let's practice just creating an equation when we are given our slope and our y-intercept. All right, so if we are given the slope of 3/2 or 3/2 and our y-intercept is 0, -7, we can write the equation because we know the generic formula right here. So we'll have y equals, and then anytime that there's an m, we're just going to replace it with this slope. So y equals 3/2x. The x is always attached to the slope. And then our y-intercept is -7, so we're going to say y equals 3/2x minus 7. All right, so we're going to try writing the equation one more time when we're given our m and our b, or our slope and our y-intercept. So when we are given things like this, we're just going to replace m and the b with the numbers that we're given. So y equals -2x. Remember, the x always stays with the slope, and then plus 12. All right, so we learned how to write an equation when we were given either a table or a graph, and how to recognize the slope and the y-intercept and turn it into an equation. Y equals mx plus b. Today we're going to talk about, if we are given the equation, how we can then turn that into the graph. So if we look at this equation right here, y equals -1/2 x plus 5. We can use the different parts of this equation to then graph it. So we know that in our equation, this number connected to the x is our slope, and this number here is our y-intercept. And so we have enough information now that we can create a graph. So if we know that our y-intercept is 5, we know that it's going to cross this y-axis at 5. So I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and put a dot here. So this tells me that this is my y-intercept of this graph. And then I can follow this point using this slope, tells me how my y changes and how my x changes, to then create more points so that I can draw a line. Okay, so my slope is -1/2. That means that I change in my y by -1 and my x by 2. So I'm going to go down 1 because it's a negative, over 2. And put a dot here. And then I can continue this pattern as long as I want. I can go down 1, over 2. And this pattern is going to continue. And really, you only need 2 points to graph a line. So once I had these first 2 points, I can draw a line through them, and I know that this is going to represent this equation.
All right, let's try writing equations given the graph. Let's check out line D. The line D starts here. Notice that it's heading towards the negative direction, right? It's decreasing. My y values are getting lower and lower as x gets bigger and bigger. So my change in y, this looks like a difference of 2. And then our y values here, we're going from -4 all the way to +1. So that looks like a change of 5. So I would say here for my equation for D, that y equals, and because I'm going down 2, I'm actually going to denote that with a -2 because I'm going down 2 for every 5 in y. Down 2 for every 5 in y. My equation will be y equals -2/5x, because that's my slope. And then I need to add my y-intercept. My y-intercept, it looks like it crosses here. This seems to be right in the middle. So I would say that this is at 0, -5.5. So my y-intercept is -5.5. And that is that. Okay, we don't need that